Good morning, afternoon, or evening. How y'all doing today? Welcome back to Mr. Morrow's intensive math class. Today we're going to be continuing talking about percents. And today, very basic but very important things. We're going to talk about how to convert percents to decimals and decimals to percents. Now, some of you may say, wait a second, Mr. Morrow. Didn't we already do this? Yes, we did. We learned how to convert a fraction to a decimal, then a decimal to a percent. We also learned how to go from decimal to fraction. We also learned how to go from percent to decimal to fraction. But today I just want to make sure that we really drive home the fact of going from percent to decimal and also decimal to percent. It's very simple, guys. Sometimes the big problem here is a lot of times people forget, do I go to the left or do I go to the right? When we're going to go from percent to decimal, you move the decimal places 2 places to the left. And how do I always remember? Because I'm going from percent to decimal, F, left, sorry, not F, but left. L for left. Decimal, left. That's how you remember. It's literally that easy. So if I have 32%, okay, where's the decimal of 32? At the front of the number or at the end of the number? The end. I go to the left. 1, 2 to the left. So that equals 0.32. Literally that easy. I don't care how large of a percent we have. If I have 376%, I'm still going 2 places to the left. So I have the number 376 as a decimal at the far right, and I go 1, 2 to the left. So that's 3.76. Sometimes you can have decimals within percents. You still follow the same procedures, okay? I promise you. Let's say I have 14.6%. Well, you have 14.6 here. Move the decimal 2 places to the left. 1, 2 to the left, which will equal 0.146 or 146 thousandths. Pretty simple, right? Percent to decimal, left. I'm not trying to be sarcastic. That's how I remember. Percent to decimal, L, left. Decimal ends in an L, left. Does that make sense, my brothers?
Yes, sir.
Now, mathematically speaking, what we are doing is we're dividing by 100. I don't know if you guys remember, but whenever you divide by powers of 10, you move the decimal to the left for as many places as there are zeros. So if you remember yesterday's lesson, okay, we were talking about the fact that percent means something over 100. So if I have 32%, that's really 32 over 100. So I move the decimal 2 places to the left. Some teachers actually teach it by dividing. So 100 would go on the outside. 32 here. Decimal comes up here. 100 goes into 323 times. Drop down to 0. 100 goes into 202 times, so 0.32. So there's a myriad of ways of doing it, okay? You can convert the percent to a fraction and read that decimal, 32 hundredths. You can actually divide it, or the easiest way, since you know it is being divided by 100, you just move the decimal 2 places to the left. Does that really make sense, guys? Okay, thank you, my brothers. Decimal to percent. Decimal to percent, we move the decimal 2 places to the right. This is the exact opposite of going from percent to decimal. Now, how do you remember decimal to percent? Per, R. R stands for right. So let's say I have, for example, 0.16. Well, I take that decimal and I go 1, 2 to the right, and I add a percent sign. If I have 0.3776, I take this decimal and I go 1, 2 to the right, and I add a percent sign. The math behind this is the exact opposite of percent to decimal. When we're going from decimal to percent, my brothers, we're actually multiplying by 100. And I don't know if you remember, but I will remind you, when you're multiplying by powers of 10, you move the decimal place to the right for as many places as there are zeros. So when I have 0.16 and I want to really turn it into a percent, I'm really multiplying this by 100. 006, skip a space, 001, 0061. There's 2 decimals, 1, 2, so that would equal 16%. Okay? Another way you could see it is like this. Let's say I give you the value 0.23. How do I read that as a proper decimal? 23 hundredths, thank you. And didn't we already talk about yesterday that whenever something is over 100, we're talking about a percent? That will equal 23% as well. So again, there's 3 ways to do it. You can convert it to a fraction and then write it as a percent. You can multiply by 100, convert it to a percent, or you can simply move the decimal 2 places to the right. Why to the right? Because it's r to the right, percent. Does that make sense, my brothers? May I continue? Thank you. All right, let's practice. So 46%. What would that become, guys? Sir? 0.46. That's absolutely correct. Perfect. Perfection. Perfection. Come on, guys, all of us. This is practice. We got to write these down. Yes, sir. What about 0.0235? Remember the directions. It says convert each decimal into a percent and each percent into a decimal. But hold on. I don't like the way this came out. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know why. There we go. Okay. Now we're cooking. Okay, so how do I turn 0.0235 into a percent? Yes, sir. Yeah, but what would the answer be? It would be 2.35%. Very good. Very, very good. Excellent. How about number 3? How can I turn 32.56% into a decimal? Yes, sir. Don't read it. Read it correctly, though. 0.3256 or 3,256 10,000ths. Okay? We already know how to read decimals, guys, so let's use those skills correctly. How about number 4? 2,356 and 8/10. How do I turn that into a percent? Yes, sir. Very good, my brother. 235,680. Oh, but I messed up. There should be a percent there. My bad. Sorry, no excuse. Yes, sir. Hold on, let me just add this in nicely. That's my mistake. All right. Sorry about that, y'all. No excuses. Okay, next, my brothers. Yes, sir. Okay, go ahead, say it again, buddy. Okay, very good. We're going to move the decimal 2 places to the right here to make it a percent. So it's 0.235%. Very good. Or 235,000 percents. Excuse me. How about number 6, 12? How do I write 12 as a percent? It doesn't have a percent sign, so I want to write that as a percent. How do I write 12 as a percent? No, I got to still move the decimal 2 places to the right, guys. So it'd be 1,200% or 1,200%. If I do not have a percent sign, and I tell you to turn it into a percent, you got to move that decimal. Remember that the number 12, guys, has an invisible decimal here. That's just the number. If I want that as a percent, I got to go 1, 2 to the right, becoming 1,200%. Does that make sense, y'all? Okay, thank you. How about number 7? I want this percent to be turned into a decimal. Okay, that doesn't make sense. Nope. Sorry, my brother. Yes, sir? Very good. 0.0235. But the proper way to read this would be 235 10,000ths. Very good. You just moved the decimal 1 over, brother. You said 0.235. Sorry. It's 2 places to the left. And last but not least for this section, how do I turn 1,356.2% into a decimal? Yes, sir. You got it. Yes, beautiful, son. Beautiful. 13 and 562 thousandths. Perfect. You even said it the right way. Very proud of you. Nice. Does that make sense, my brothers? Does that make sense? May I continue? All right, now we're going to tweak it a little bit. Now I have fractions. Now, remember how I told you guys to memorize these? Okay. For those of you that memorize these, you got no problem. For those of you that did not memorize these, you still have no problem because you can divide them. You know how to go from fraction to decimal now. So let's do it. I want to convert each one of these fractions not only to a decimal but to a percent. So has anyone memorized yet what 3/5 is? Yes, sir. 0.6. Very good. And then how would I write 0.6 as a percent? Don't be afraid, guys. Do it. 2 places to the right, 60%. Now, for those of you that did not memorize 3/5, you're going to have to do it on your paper, guys. 5 goes on the outside. 3.0 goes on the inside. Bring up the decimal. 5 goes into 36 times. And that's how I got 0.6. But it will behoove you or benefit you greatly if you memorize these. Remember, I printed out the sheet for you, plus showed you the website. Practice makes perfect, my brothers. Okay, number 10. Does anyone remember what happens when there's a ninth? No? Number 10. Repeat. I am very proud of you, son. Anytime you have a 9, excellent. Anytime you have a 9 in the denominator, my brothers, you're going to look at the numerator and it's going to be a repeating decimal. So this is 0.44444 repeating forever. Now, how do you write this as a percent? Don't be afraid. Do it. Tell me. Don't be afraid. Guys, we're just going to go 1, 2 to the right, correct? However, this 4 is repeating forever, right? So here's the key. It's 44.4 with the repeating sign percent. Please be aware of that. Please be aware of that. If it is repeating, you move the decimal 2 places to the right like normal. But then that last digit that's going to be repeating forever, you have to put a repeating sign over it. Please. Okay, who remembers what 3/4 is right off the bat? Yes, sir. 0.75. How would I write that as a percent, please? Yes, sir, my brother. 75%. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Okay, we got a mixed number here. 2 and 5/6. I know that the 2 is going to be the whole number. Does anybody remember what 5/6 turns into? No? Okay, I'm going to pause. Do it out. I want you to figure it out. Go. All right, we got the answer pretty quickly. This is going to become 2.8. Whoa. This this guy, hold on. This guy goes over the 3. It's 2.83333333 repeating forever. I'll prove it. 6 goes on the outside. 5 goes on the inside, right? 6, bring up the decimal. 6 goes into 50 8 times, which is 48. Then I drop down a 2. 6 goes into 23 times. And that's just going to keep repeating forever. So it's 2, because that's the whole number. And then 5 6s, 0.833333 repeating forever. Okay? So how would I write this as a percent? Sir? No, close. 283.3 repeating percent. Because remember, guys, I got to go 1, 2 to the right. But this 0.3 is repeating always. So it's 283.3 repeating percent, sir. Does that make sense? Thomas? Okay. Number 13, 6/9. What does that become? Yes, sir. 0.6 repeating. Very good. 0.6666666. Okay. Okay, but it's not. Okay, I see what you're saying. Thank you. Now, what's the percentage? Yes, sir. 66.6 repeating. Yes. Sometimes, though, people round this up. Since you can round 6 up, right? So it's 666. You can go ahead and say 66.67%. You could write 66.6 repeating percent, but that's not very popular. Because if we were to round this, we could round that 0.666 to 0.67. Okay? Good boy. How about number 14, my brothers? What does anyone remember what 3/8 is?
0.375.
That's what I'm saying. Good job, my brother. 3/8 is 0.375. How would I write that as a percent, gentlemen? That's it. Don't be ashamed or shy. Great job. 37.5%. Beautiful, son. How about 2/9, guys? 0.2 repeating. You are on fire, sir. How would I write that as a percent, though? Remember, there's a bunch of 2s. Sir. That's it. 22.2 repeating percent. Because remember, guys, 0.2 repeating just means it's 0.222222. So I go 1, 2 to the right. That's 22.2 repeating percent. Make sense? Thank you, my brothers. How about 16? Yes, sir. 0.9. Very good. How would I write that as a percent, sir? 90% is exactly perfect. And last but not least, 4/5? No, not 8%. 4/5 is 0.8. You got that part right. What would it be in percent? 80%. Bingo, bango, bongo. Good job, guys. Very proud of you. Any question on this, my brothers? Fantastic. Thank you very much. Hope you learned a lot. And have a wonderful day. God bless you. Bye-bye.